Oh, hello. Please have a seat. How can I help you? Oh, you'd like to speak with the High Priestesses? Right now? You must be the emissary from Namasera, aren't you? Yes, I thought so. You do look like you're from our sister city. Oh, it's nothing wrong with that. It just, well, I mean, first of all, your Elven markings are a different color than what we typically see from the clans around here. And your attire is very colorful. I think you'll find that things around here in Moonheim are perhaps a bit more subdued than your city in the forest. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different way of life. Anyway, you wanted to see the High Priestesses? I'm afraid they're all preparing for the festival tonight. Yes, they're getting the rituals ready and preparing the ceremonies and all of the prayers to the Lady Fate. Is there something that you needed? Any sort of questions that you have? I might be able to answer them for you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't introduce myself, did I? My name is Ronalda. I'm one of the acolytes here for the High Priestesses. So I'm not technically a High Priestess, but I'm learning. Anyway, is there something specific that you wanted to know or that you needed help with? Oh, you'd like to know more about the festival tonight before everything gets going, huh? Of course, yes, I would love to. So tonight's festival is called the Festival of Beltane. Beltane is a celebration that falls midway between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. It honors spring at its peak and the coming summer. If the spring has been a fruitful one, usually the rains have produced rich and fertile earth with verdant green woodlands. Beltane celebrates the new life that will emerge during this seasonal transition, as the goddess of nature begins her transition from fertile spring maiden to bountiful mother. The world will blossom and bloom with crops and flowers and trees. You see, at the spring equinox, usually winter is still holding on to the world with its chilly grasp. And spring is starting to come, starting to prevail. The days just begin to get longer as the earth slowly wakes up. But it's not necessarily bright and lush and green quite yet. It's coming, but it's not quite there yet. But here on Beltane, we get to celebrate the fertility of the earth, the vibrance and the greening of the trees and the flowers and all of the land, as everything is awoken. And then, of course, it's also a welcoming of the coming summer and the anticipation of the bounty and the warmth that is yet to come. Beltane celebrations vary from place to place, but most involve some form of dancing and social merriment, communal bonfires, and rituals to honor primarily the nature goddess, but also the spirits of the forest, the river, the flowers, and crops. Many farmers and nature mages practice fertility rituals during this time in order to ensure a lush summer and a bountiful harvest. Many households also hold family abundance rituals to honor the home's ancestors and bring blessings and good health upon the family in the coming seasons. Usually it involves an altar with at least 2 candles, different tokens of the season, whether that be freshly picked spring flowers, perhaps the first harvest of some of the spring fruits that we grow here, even things like acorns or baby leaves, any of those sorts of things to honor the rebirth of the forest, of the world in general. Now, because Beltane is at its core a festival of fertility, there will also be quite a few hand clasping ceremonies going on tomorrow, more in the evening, of two elves joining together as one, as a new couple, to start a new family. Yes, it's very popular. Now, depending on which clan those elves are from, the ceremonies will look a bit different, whether it's more relics to the ancestors, or honoring the Lady Fate, or perhaps even honoring the stars themselves. It will depend. Each of our different clans celebrates hand clasping ceremonies a bit differently, but at its core, it's all the same. Then, just before sunset, the High Priestess will weave a floral crown from the garden in the grove of the temple and offer it up to the Nature Mother on the altar. She will then wear the crown through the city, reciting a prayer to the Nature Mother, asking her to bless the homes and the people who live here. The leaves are budding across the land, on the ash and oak and hawthorn trees. Magic rises around us in the forest, and the hedges are filled with laughter and love. Dear Lady, we offer you a gift, a gathering of flowers picked by our hands, woven into the circle of endless life. The bright colors of nature herself blend together to honor you, Lady of Life, as we give you honor this day. Spring is here, and the land is fertile, ready to offer up gifts in your name. We pay you tribute, Our Lady, Daughter of Fate, and ask your blessing this Beltane. As the High Priestess walks through the streets, the citizens of Moonheim trail behind her, joining her in her sacred prayer. Once the processional reaches the castle steps, the serenity of the march breaks into jovial dancing, feasting, and merriment that will last well into the night. All of the torches lit, of course, and I do believe this year that all of them will be lit in a different color. That's right, some sort of magic. I don't think it's divination magic. Perhaps we've learned a thing or two from our sister city. Some rune casting magic. Yes, anyway, all of them will be different colors along the halls, and we will all share in the bounty that the Lady Fate has blessed us with thus far this spring. And then, of course, beckon in the harvest from the summer as well. After the feast, the priestesses will light the Beltane bonfire. We will all clasp hands around the bonfire and dance together as we celebrate the joy and the bounty of spring. That's sort of the main idea behind Beltane here. Now, I think you may find that celebrating a festival here in Moonheim is a bit more stoic, perhaps, than you're maybe used to in Namasera. Now, I've never been to Namasera, but I've heard from our emissaries that travel to your city that it's a bit more lively than we are here. Yes, nothing wrong with that. Again, here in Moonheim, we practice the magic of divination. Things like reading the stars, listening to the patterns of the weather, and interpreting what that means for our world. Yes, it's quite a slow process, I suppose. You must be patient. The stars don't always reveal their secrets when you want them to. Sometimes you have to wait, maybe even years, before you get the answer that you're looking for. And so everyone here in Moonheim is patient. We're okay with waiting, with things taking a long time, because it's always worth it. Anyway, it might be a bit more slow-paced than what you are perhaps used to in your shining, bustling, lively forest city of Namasera. I mean, also just you live amongst the forest, full of life all the time. Even in the dead of winter, there's still life in the forest. Whereas up here in the mountains, or closer to the heavens, and far less greenery and foliage and creatures to entertain us. No, far more focused on the longevity of life, the stillness of the mountains, the power in the wind, things like that. Also, I hope someone warned you, it rains all the time in Moonheim. Almost constantly. Although, usually all the way up here, you can still get patches in the clouds where you can see the stars. But it does rain quite a lot. I'm not sure if it's just the weather or if it's an enchantment. Depending on which high priestess you ask, you'll get a different answer. So, oh, my festival makeup. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you like it. Oh, you don't necessarily need anything. If you would like to, I can point you in the direction of those acolytes who are chosen to be creating the looks today. As an acolyte of the high priestesses, I do definitely have the makeup, especially for such an important festival. Yes, this symbol on my forehead here is the sigil of the high priestesses of Moonheim, the crescent moon. And then, of course, the 3 spokes coming out and around. Yes, that's right. It's all part of the ceremony, the rituals. Yes. In fact, I'll get to be leading one of the prayers tonight around the bonfire. I've never actually led one before. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've studied plenty and I've heard it done plenty of times every year since I was very, very small. But I've never actually led one. It's quite a responsibility. Anyway, what else would you like to know? Oh, you would like to create an altar for tomorrow? Sure. Yes, absolutely. I can provide some of the different materials that you'll need for that. Of course, yes. So you'll need the 2 pillar candles. That's sort of the celebration of the male and the female energies coming together as one. So that's sort of the center of the altar for Beltane. And then, as I said, you'll need different symbols or tokens of the season that symbolize the bounty of spring, the awakening of the earth around us. So I can provide some of those, or if you'd like, you can actually just go on a pilgrimage throughout the city and find some things for yourself. Might mean a bit more. And then you'll need different symbols for the Lady Fate in her different forms. So something like a cauldron or a cup, or even just a ring, perhaps even a ring of flowers, something like that. All of those are symbols of Our Lady. Yes, of course. And then, if you would like to, something that is very, very common while worshipping at an altar for Beltane is to write down on just a bit of parchment something that you have observed or something that you have received since the beginning of spring that you are appreciative of. Whether it be a new friendship or the bounty of the earth or whatever it is, something good that has come into your life since the spring equinox. And we write that down on a parchment. Then you can either leave it in the center of your altar or even burn it in the candles as a sort of thanks for the Lady Fate. Yes, of course. Yes, I can have those things sent to your room. Are you staying here at the temple or are you at the castle? At the castle, all right. I suppose that makes more sense, seeing as you won't actually be participating in leading any of the ceremonies with the high priestesses. Makes much more sense for you to stay with the king. Yes, of course. Well, did that answer your questions? Give you a bit more information about what to expect during the festival? Good, good. I'm glad that I could be of assistance. Is there anything else that I can do for you right away? No? All right. Well, I do hope that you enjoy your first celebration of Beltane in our wonderful city. Yes. And do enjoy however long you'll be staying here in Moonheim. I hope that it is a most informative time for you. Yes, of course. Well, I suppose I'll probably see you at the festival later, if not just around the city. Yes, well, best wishes to you. Yes, may the Lady Fate protect you.